Today we're visiting a guy who has a very rare type of occupation. He is a heater. Yep, literally the man who heats. Heating is the process which is applied to gemstones to alter and change their color. There is a lot of myths and misunderstandings around this procedure. That's why I decided to record this video to answer all questions at once. First of all, heating the stone has nothing to do with coloring. It's important because many people still believe that here in Thailand sapphires become brighter and more beautiful because they're just physically colored. I even remember the stories from my previous career, as many years ago I used to work as a guide, and I have heard many times how tourists with big scared eyes would come up to me and tell that they saw just now on the street someone really painting the gemstone with a little brush in their hands. Most probably, what they saw was just brushing the gemstone off the dust after cutting. I'm not saying that there is no such thing as coloring a gemstone. However, I doubt that it can be done just with a normal paint. You see, he is making special little ovens for gemstones. By the way, here in Thailand people avoid calling each other by name. Therefore they use nicknames in order to distract the evil spirits and make them confused. And the nickname of this quite senior gentleman is a bunny. He is highly qualified in creating the special equipment for heating the stones and performing the process itself. So as you can see, our Mr. Bunny prepared yellow sapphires to show us how it's done. That's how you would get it from the ground. Honestly, can't even tell what is it. Right now, they look more like the broken bottle glass. However, as soon as Mr. Bunny starts heating them, the inclusions will eventually disappear, and they become transparent and bright green again. As you may guess, the price will increase dramatically after this procedure. So let me explain you why do we need to apply the heat to some of the gemstones. The thing is that most of the gemstones, when they just come out of the ground, don't look pretty. Not experienced person might not even be able to tell the difference between a regular pebble and a rock with a real valuable gemstone hidden in it. It is happening especially here with sapphires because they have a lot of inclusions. And we need to apply high temperature in order to melt those inclusions to bring the transparency and vivid color back to the gemstone. That's why people like this heater are baking the gemstones. I will try to avoid any kind of too much specific terms in order not to confuse you. I will try to show you a couple of examples so you would be able to understand the idea of heating and why it's done. Probably women will be able to understand it better than men, however we shall try. Can you imagine right now the soup which you just took out from the fridge? Most probably the broth itself will be looking very ugly. The oily particles are frozen, and therefore they look very pale and grayish. However, as soon as you put your soup into a microwave, or just warm it up on the oven, all the oily particles will melt, and the soup will become transparent and pretty again. So now, Mr. Bunny and I are going to visit the local market and pick up a few gemstones, so to play with them and show you how the heating of a gemstone is done. The tricky part is that when you're heating a natural sapphire or any other stone which is supposed to be heated, you never know what the result will be. It might be 10 times prettier than it used to be. It might be just the same pale or ugly kind of color, or it might even make your stone look cheaper than it could have been. So in other words, there are no guarantees at all. You might buy 10 pieces of stones and all of them could be not good even after heating, and you will have to throw it away. That explains why the cut and heated sapphire is always more expensive than the raw one. So, as you can see, we put the yellow sapphires into this little furnace. The temperature inside is 1800 degrees, and we would need just 20 minutes. And actually, as our Mr. Bunny says, half of the process is already done. Okay, it's time to open and see if we succeeded or not. By the matter of facts, we will be able to have an actual look after some time, because now they're very hot. It's alright, come closer, it's not that much hot around here. Looks a little bit like the Eye of Sauron. Okay, time to lift it up.
โอเคออกได้ครับ
This little cup is called tigel. It's made from fire-resistant clay. And our stones are right there inside. You can see that the stones became much more transparent.
Yellow and green.
And they also obtained more beautiful green color. Oh, we need to wait a few more.
Anh mà kia yellow này, green. Yellow and green là.
So, just 20 minutes. Temperature of 1800 degrees made our ugly pale yellow sapphires to be much more beautiful greenish transparent ones. Much better now, isn't it? Here's the friend of our Mr. Bunny.
พี่ชื่ออะไรครับ
รอครับ
ร้อน
ท้องรอ
รอ
รอ
His name is Mr. Handsome.
จากเยลโล่
Closer. So basically, this is now the treated sapphire, as we melted all the inner inclusions, improving its transparency and color. I especially like this one. It looks really nice now, and I think that its price now is about $200 or $300 per carat. Well, before it was maybe $15. And these guys around me are local brokers. They buy all the stones from mines and sell it further to wholesalers or just private customers.
ผมถ่ายวิดีโอนะ โอเค
Here they have a few not cut and not treated sapphires. I'm going to buy them, heat them and see what will happen. Right now they look just like dark rocks, not transparent at all. You see, you could never tell that this is a sapphire which is famous for its bright colors. Let's have a closer look. However, these are all because of the inclusions, which are not melted yet. So now the color is like dark steel. However, it's supposed to become a bright blue sapphire. So what do you think? We shall bargain.
ผู้จัดการบอกว่า4,000
ไม่ได้ขาดทุนนี่โอ้นี่ซื้อมา 3-4 หมื่นนี่ตรงเนี้ย
เขาบอกว่าตะปง4-5,000
โดนลูก
เขามีควินนะเขามีควิน
ไม่มี
Let me show you something. This is a very rare example of a sapphire which is already blue, even if it's not treated yet. Such stones are found maybe just once per 10,000. It's a great luck to see something like that, even greater luck to find it. And of course the price is like 10, sometimes 15 times bigger than the normal one. See that? Absolutely stunning electric blue color. No treatment needed. Just cut it and mount into a jewelry. Exactly this little piece is offered for $1,000. After cutting, it will be at least $5,000 for sure. And until we cut it, we cannot say that we will be able to get the nice final piece of a gemstone. Because there might be a crackle inside, which will make the stone just fall apart during cutting. Therefore, if you're not a professional cutter, it's highly not recommended to buy and cut stones, even if the color looks already pretty. So after visiting the brokers, which are located near to the mines, we bought a couple of stones, 12 carats in total, 6 carats each. No idea what color it will be and what transparency it will be. There is a hint of a blue in it, but we're still not sure. It's an absolute lottery, and it's not because we're not experienced or something. This is how the process looks like. Everybody who is in that kind of business has to take a risk. Buy the stones, heat them, and hope that the color will change into a better one, without any guarantees. Now we bought it just for $300. After heating, if it turns out well, the price will be starting from $700 per carat. Otherwise, we just have to throw it away. Hopefully it won't be the case, and we will have a chance to cut the stones which we personally picked and heated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you Mr. Nut. He is the son of Mr. Bunny, who is busy at the moment. So now we take our sapphires, put it into this little clay cup, and cover it. And as the furnace is quite hot, we have to use the tongs in order to place the stones inside.
คุณเนตดูผมใส่ถูกไหม
ถูกครับ
Okay, I'm good. I put it exactly in the middle, which is good. Or maybe not. He's still going to fix it a bit.
เอาอันนี้ใช่ไหม
เดี๋ยวนะครับแป๊บนึงจะต้องจุดไฟก่อน
Now we start the fire and cover this whole construction with a lid.
โอเคไม่ระเบิดแล้ว
Yeah, so he's going to warm the furnace properly before he's actually covering it with the lid. Yeah, now the temperature should be quite alright, and we can place the lid on the top, closing our sapphires. And now we're going to cook it for 20 minutes.
อันนี้อะไรครับ อ๋อ เดี๋ยวเอาน้ำตาล
ราคาบางกระจับเนี่ยพลอยที่ไปซื้อมาเก็บที่ไปซื้อมาบอกเมื่อกี้ครับเราเก็บเอาอย่างนี้ได้
Here's the local gemstone buyer.
เดี๋ยวพี่พอเข้ามาที่นี่มาถ่ายรูปด้วยกัน
I spotted him sitting for several hours outside, just watching TV. And he was holding the thing in his hands.
เขาดูออกข้างนอกแล้วก็ดูทีวีข้างใน
When I came up and asked why he was doing that, he told me that there is no much work to do now. But if he didn't have this thing in his hand, nobody would understand that he is actually a gemstone buyer. So it's a kind of a business card. Quite recently, he has bought this one sapphire, which is quite pretty. It is yellow on one side and bit brown on the other one. Okay, our gemstones cookies are quite ready.
แต่เดี๋ยวเต่าผมออกเองนะ
ครับผม
So we're going to take them out. Oh, it looks hot.
ตัวที่จับอยู่ไหน
เดี๋ยวรอแป๊บครับเดี๋ยวผมจะบอกก่อนเพราะลงเมื่อกี้มันผิด
ไม่ต้องรีบ เดี๋ยวแตกใช่ไหม
ใช่ครับไม่ผิดด้วยแหละมันต้อง
Okay now.
จะลำบากตรงนี้แหละ
Mr. Nut is taking out our sapphires. And we still need to wait another 20 or 30 minutes to let it cool down before we open up and see what is inside. That is quite thrilling for me. You know, like the gambler anxiety. Is it going to be the fortune or the fail? Drum roll. Now it's time to see if our little adventure turns out to be a profitable one or not. Okay, so what can I see so far? All inclusions melted. Therefore, the transparency level is quite satisfactory now. And the color also became blue. This one is even a bit close to the famous royal blue hue. No doubt that the price is now much higher. Let's have a look at them against the light. As you can see, the gemstone, which used to be dark and gray, now became quite pretty blue. And if we manage to cut it and the stone doesn't fall apart, we might even be able to earn something. Still will be tiny one. Nevertheless, bit more expensive than I bought it for. So now our sapphire is treated and colored, and I bring your attention that no paint was involved. Because one more time, it's just the inclusion which makes sapphire to look dark. As soon as we melt them in the furnace, it becomes nice, transparent and bright, if everything goes according to the plan. Sapphires, which don't require such treatment, are super rare and cost like 10 times more at least. However, most of people won't be able to see the difference in the final result. However, some of clients still prefer not heated sapphires. Mostly the collectors or investors. Okay now, let's try and cut this. Unfortunately, our cutter had a look and saw the crackles inside. Therefore, it's impossible to cut them, because the final stone will be like 0.10 carats. Therefore, there is no point in doing that. So what happens now? This gemstone can just go into the trash bin. So on the one hand, we spend some money which we wouldn't be able to return. On the other hand, you can now see how the actual business is going on, and why the ready stone, which is big, beautiful, bright and cut, costs a lot. Even if the rough stone can be bought for really not big money, because as you saw, we took the risk and bought the raw material. We successfully passed the first stage of heating the stones, but we were not able to cut them. And that is happening all the time. You never actually know if your investment will be profitable or not. Normally 99% of all stones which are found will be generally the absolutely worthless. Some of them won't give you a nice color after heating, some of them won't be cuttable, and there's absolutely no way to define which of the initial rocks will lead to the successful result and which will not. You just have to go through all the steps. So people hit stones and cut them day by day until they find the actual one which can be put on the market. As a result, a lot of efforts and money are spent to get the stone which actually will be sold. And as you can guess, the price of that final stone will have to cover all the money which were spent before. Otherwise, nobody would be able to do that type of business.